session of today, 27th July, and we are having a great time, great engagement here at Maritime Industry's largest technology conference, Technology in Maritime TIM 2021. Over the last few sessions, you've heard many experts coming and speaking to us on autonomous ships, about smart vessels, about new technologies, about marine remote inspections. We've had great sessions so far, a lot of engagement from the audience, and we really liked the audience going into all the booths. We have lined up so many booths: HSBC, StormGeo, HIMT, Bloom's Technology, and of course we had the booth from Vatsila and Ocean Technologies Group. So now we have someone very special, and we've had a very good relationship with Ocean Technologies because they're one of the leading technology companies in the world, and they have so many companies under their own banner. They've got Marlins, they've got Coex, they've got Videotel. So Ocean Technologies is a flourishing company which is going to define tomorrow's maritime future. So today we have an expert from Tero Marine, also a part of the Ocean Technologies Group, and Satish Kanakasabai. Satish is based in Singapore, and before I present him to you, I would like to give you a small brief introduction of Satish. And Satish is a regional director for Asia Pacific at the Tero Marine, which is a group company within the Ocean Technologies Group, OTG normally called. Seagull, Videotel, Coex, Marlins, and MTS. Based in Singapore, he is responsible for the Asia Pacific sales and operations of Terra Marine's suite of products. Satish has been with Terra Marine for the last 9 years, starting as technical manager, and has been heading the APAC office for the past 6 years. Prior to becoming the part of this group, Satish has worked in ship management, managing onboard maintenance, as well as overseeing the planned maintenance system, the PMS for the fleet. He has over 15 years of experience in fleet management systems in various roles and capacities within the maritime industry. Starting off as an engineer with an Indian ship owner, his interest in software spurred him to make a move to the field of maintenance systems, and there has been no turning back ever since. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, dear viewers, and hundreds of people are watching us live from the TIM live program today, and we present to you the Naval Connections proudly presents Satish Kanakasabai as a speaker in the TIM 2021 conference. Satish, over to you now.
Okay, thank you, Shaukat. So just a sound check, all loud and clear?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. That was a fantastic introduction, Shaukat, and I must also thank you for giving me an opportunity to be part of this fantastic event. Hello and a good day to all viewers. It could be good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on which time zone you are in. I was actually thinking of giving an introduction myself, but Shaukat has done that for you, for me. So in short, my name is Satish. Just leave out the Kanakasabai part. It can be a little bit complex. I'm regional director at Tero Marine, which is actually part of the Ocean Technologies Group. I'm based in lovely and sunny Singapore. And of course, I oversee sales and operations of Terra Marine software and services in the APAC region. So what am I going to be doing today? I'm just going to be sharing some thoughts on a topic that has been in the forefront of discussions in many shipping companies, which is basically data and how this can be used to influence decision making. Starting with a bit of introduction to the company, Tero Marine itself. Tero Marine was founded in the year 1986 in Bergen, Norway, by two pioneers who wanted to develop an onboard maintenance system with just one main objective, that it should be easy to use for seafarers and office users alike. Our flagship fleet management suite, TM Master, has lived up to this standard and is currently a leading brand in marine information systems. Head office is in Bergen, Norway, where we were founded, and we have full-fledged offices in Singapore, UK, USA, and Cyprus. We also do have sales agents and partners in various other strategic locations to serve our customers better. TM Master covers the main 4 functional requirements of a ship manager, namely maintenance, purchasing, HSEQ, and crewing. All these components are within one single integrated software platform, which means you do not need to access multiple systems for different information. As on date, there are 1,800 plus TM Master licenses installed on various types of vessels, serving over 200 customers worldwide. That's a little bit on how many we are in the company today. I also want to take this opportunity to mention that we are expanding and are on the lookout for talent. Tero Marine is a part of Ocean Technologies Group, a global learning and operational technologies provider, which is home to well-known brands like Seagull, Videotel, MTS, and Marlins in the learning space, and Terra Marine Covex, which form the operational technologies arm. We are a startup in our ways of thinking and in mindset, but with over 60 years of experience behind us. And as a group, we touch the lives of over 1 million seafarers. Into the topics itself. Okay, big data is everywhere. There's no way of escaping it. You wake up in the morning and your Fitbit device tells you that you have slept 30 minutes more than your daily average. And then you're driving to work and Waze warns you of a new speed camera on the way. You Google search a screwdriver and the social media flashes up with advertisements of all kinds of screwdrivers, including the liquid kind that you might indulge in on a Friday evening after a week of grueling work. Okay, let's get into the topic. Data in the maritime industry, the sources, challenges faced, and optimization. Okay, how is maritime big data generated? Primarily, there are two sources of data. One, traditional data. What is traditional data? Traditional data is collected from conventional sources and systems such as warehouses, distribution nodes, shipyards. But these are pretty much fixed and quantifiable. What's the other one? Non-traditional data. What is non-traditional data? Non-traditional data is subject to time and keeps changing. This could be weather, unexpected repairs, and vessel speeds. These are sometimes quantifiable and sometimes not. What is important to note is that information comes from various sources and various formats like texts, videos, images, etc. Though maritime industry has been a late entrant to the big data realm, significant progress has been made in the last few years and is primarily attributed to initiatives from governments, regulatory bodies, and classification societies. Demands from their internal and external stakeholders have also fast-paced this effort. And as you all know, shipping industry is a complex network of people, agencies, and authorities. This makes the maritime industry a truly global enterprise that generates massive volumes of data. Okay, what are the challenges that ship operators face in reference to data? First one, data quality. With so many moving parts, high data quality is essential to perform optimally and succeed in collaboration. A lack of this can lead to wrong decisions with major consequences. This could lead to higher costs and the potential for lost business opportunities. But companies that base their forecasting on accurate and actionable data, they do make big gains as they are in a better position to make informed decisions, leading to monetary and other benefits. When we talk about data distribution, visibility, and as well as data silos, imagine this. You're sitting in your desktop, you have an assortment of Excel sheets with work-related information lying around. This is a typical example of decentralized data. Each person or department in a shipping company normally hold their own data sets. What are the examples? Operations, they hold vessel-wide information. Technical, they could hold maintenance and inventory data. Purchasing, they hold all order data. But remember, they hold it in their own formats and absolutely no common links. Don't you look to that as a challenge? It is, because it does make implementation of a centralized data repository difficult if information is lying around with different people in various formats. And then, of course, there's a question of lack of skill sets. As such, there is already a shortage of highly trained data scientists. And with booming demand, this shortage is expected to further increase in the future. There is also a need for better tools to make sense out of data, like BI tools or business intelligence tools, which is actually what we're going to talk about much later in detail. Everyone recognizes that data is the new oil, but this is not of much use if not refined. And lastly, cyber threats. Marine IT and telecom infrastructure are at very high risk of penetration from cyber criminals. Generation of big data could increase the vulnerability to cybercrime in the maritime industry. How do we ensure optimal use of data? There are a number of aspects to optimizing data usage, but unfortunately, not all of them are widely adopted today. It's important to develop a culture in which data is understood to be an asset. This is extremely important. This will help to ensure support and buy-in throughout the enterprise. Also, companies should be aligned from top to bottom to implement best practices in data management and governance with an emphasis on data quality, transparency, and completeness. Technology can and also should be an enabler of this. Nowadays, we see that a reliance on manual processes and legacy technologies is preventing shipping companies from making optimal use of their data. But by investing in the right platform and technology, you can ensure that all users have access to the same high quality, validated data for use in their decision-making and operational processes. In many shipping companies, data management is left to be managed by the IT department. Why is that? It's primarily because the tools that bring data to life are managed by the IT department. But remember, what's important? Every single employee in a company is a data manager himself and should care about the information that drives their decisions every day in terms of completeness of data and accuracy. But at this point, are we at a data overload? Are we suffering from data overload? That's what we're going to see. Data from various sources have increased exponentially with the advent of new technologies. Significant improvements in communication bandwidth on ships, with the VSATs getting cheaper, and a lot of new digital sensor technologies coupled with IoT now allow for transmission of large amounts of operational data between ship and shore. Added to this are also implementation of enterprise systems for managing maintenance activities, warehouse, and inventory management that increase the amount of data generated. And the problem, they're all in absolutely different formats. Independent studies also point out that a modern ship generates over 20 GB of data every day from various sources. And also, according to a 2019 report, there were an estimated 100 to 120 million data points generated in the maritime industry every day. Now, remember, this is 2 years back, and you can see the quantum as it stands today. This keeps increasing with more companies and partners adding data sources and information nodes to keep pace with changing and growing industry demands. We've talked about data. I'm sure we realize by now how important it is for all this generated data to be reined in, connect the dots, and be made useful, which in essence is what a business intelligence tool does. Ship operators are looking for ways to harness the power of their data. The more data we acquire, the more important the need for tools and systems that can make sense of it and transform data into actionable insights. What do I mean by actionable insights? In other words, actionable insights are meaningful actions that you can take based on analysis of raw data. Business intelligence tools, they not only need to be able to access and analyze data sets, but to present them visually in the form of graphs, charts, maps, to provide users with detailed information they need to make informed decisions. We have talked about data silos earlier, where people hold data in their own format. This data can be made useful only if it is part of a central data gathering platform, like a BI tool. That's when we can generate value from these data silos. Previously, we talked about different departments holding their own sets of information. If purchasing, just imagine, if purchasing have access to a common platform where operations share their vessel voyage information, isn't that so easy for purchasers to know where to send the goods to? They will just know where's the next port the vessel is going to, and they can just ship it to that port. So a key factor of implementing a BI tool is to spend more time on action rather than on analysis, and should make tasks easy for enhanced decision-making. Enter TM Insights. So what is TM Insights? TM Insights is a business intelligence tool and an analytics platform from the Terra Marine product suite, and it exactly does that. TM Insights collects data generated from ship and shore TM master systems, presents them in pleasing visuals that users could view, and dive deep across multiple levels of information to obtain minute details that aid them in the decision-making process. So TM Insights is actually an overlay to TM Master. All data that is collected on the TM Master database is available as continuous updates to users in the form of visually appealing graphic interfaces. It's based on a Power BI platform from Microsoft and easily installed on a Power BI cloud. The basic thing is you get meaningful reports also driven by domain experts. And the bottom line, you get value from your data from day one. That's the most important thing. These are some examples of where TM Insights can be used for specific applications in a shipping company to derive key benefits. As you can see, it's useful for every single employee in the company, whether it's the executive team or whether it's just a normal purchasing executive. I'm going to actually show you some screens of TM Master itself, the TM Insights platform itself. So I might have to slightly look away from the camera because I have to look at a different screen. So apologies for that. Okay, this is a typical TM Insights screen. What are we looking at? We're looking at a maintenance dashboard. So what I'm going to show you now is something called a fleet KPI. What can a fleet KPI do? So a fleet KPI is looking at a total KPI for the whole fleet, as you can see here. I'm going to drill down to a particular vessel fleet. I'm going to look at, for example, the tanker fleet. So I click on tanker fleet. Then I'm going to look at one particular vessel. So I look at the statistics of KPIs for the tanker fleet. Overdue jobs, how many of them are critical, non-critical, and the fleet KPI on the right-hand side over here, and including the percentage of overdue jobs on the right-hand side that you see here. If I want to drill down to a particular vessel, I just choose that particular vessel. Let's say I call it TM Denmark, and I just see one vessel's data over here. So what if I want to drill down a little bit more further? I can just choose this. I can right-click, show as a table, and it's going to expand only that part into a table, and it shows me just how many critical jobs, how many non-critical jobs across the whole year. Okay, so this was how we can look at KPIs, for example. And how can we look at something else? I could also show you something about budgets. Budgets are something that everyone is interested in. Are we performing according to what we've budgeted, or are expenses shooting up? So look at this particular example. This is, again, budgets of a whole fleet. So if I were to look at, for example, a particular fleet only, container fleet, and I'm going to see how the container fleet is performing, I can see that there's actually quite a little bit of high expenses on these two periods, as you can see. So if I'm going to look at one particular vessel, let's say TM Estonia, I can see this is the budget in red, and this is how it's performed. So you can see that there's a couple of periods where it's overperformed. So if I click on one period where it's overperformed, I can see below the information changes. So what was the budget for various items? How much has been paid off? So which means what's the expenses? So you can look at that information. If you want, you can right click and do a drill through, and it gives you a list of all the orders or all the components that formed part of those expenses. And this information can be copied and pasted to an Excel file. You can put it onto a PDF or XML, etc., etc. So these are various things that you can do with TM Master on the TM Insights platform. So what I'm going to now show you is a typical example of something like a user story, typical thing that you face on a day-to-day basis. A vessel manager has an issue. There's a vessel named TM Italy. It has an upward trend of unplanned jobs for the past 2 months. He needs an analysis of what these were with an explanation for the increase. What's the solution? I use TM Insights, pull up information of unplanned jobs, and analyze this to get a cost. What's the benefit, the potential benefit? Identify the part that's causing frequent failures and take preventative action to avoid this on the rest of the fleet. So let me go back here and let me look at this part. I'm going to pull up the component job history for that particular vessel, which is called TM Italy. So let me go to TM Italy. And you do see that there is a little bit of an upward trend over here, Feb, March, April. So this was exactly the issue. So I want to see why was there a hike between Jan and Feb. So I'm going to click on February, and say, analyze and explain the increase. This is what you can exactly do with TM Insights. TM Insights does the analysis for you. Just click on analyze, explain the increase. And here you'll see a screen which tells you that there was this particular job, wiper control not working, needs replacement. This was done 10 times. So why was this done 10 times? This can actually be the one you can say that, okay, this wiper control has a problem. You might want to take it up with the manufacturer and say, fine, guys, this is something that's not working. We need to get a part replacement. And then the best part, you can send this out as a service bulletin to the rest of the whole fleet that has exactly the same type of wiper controls. Yeah. So this is a typical example of what we can do. Final takeaways. Data is inevitable. It's here to stay. Embrace it with the right mindset and develop a culture with a top-down approach in your organization. Then you are a data manager yourself. Take responsibility and ownership of the data that you handle in your day-to-day functions. BI tools are important to connect the dots and bring raw data to life. And lastly, this process is a long journey, so ensure that you choose the right partner to travel with you. That's my final slide. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to me today. And again, a shout out to Shaukat. Thanks again for giving me this opportunity, and stay safe.
Thank you, Satish, and fantastic presentation. Very, very informative presentation, and lots to learn. I'm sure people who've been watching us live, hundreds and thousands of people watching us live from our pages, the Naval Connection YouTube channel as well as the Facebook channel. We've had a lot of engagement throughout the day. So, yeah, coming back to the full concept of OTG Group becoming an umbrella for all the major technology companies in the world, I wanted to ask you about a general, it's a very large portfolio that OTG handles.
Yeah.
And as far as Tero Marine is concerned, Satish, I would want to know which segment are you the strongest in? Is there any particular segment you're working on the ship, or what is that particular segment that is your prime strength?
Okay, good question. This could probably be attributed to the fact that we were founded in Bergen, Norway, which is actually pretty much the head of or the base for offshore. So I must admit that Tero Marine and TM Master is actually strong in the offshore segment with the big focus on subsea. But having said that, it doesn't mean that our software can only be suited for offshore industries. I must admit that we do have specific modules suiting the offshore segment, but doesn't mean that we can't use it for other segments as well. So we do have customers that are in the tanker, bulker, general cargo segments also. But if you look at it from if you look at a pie chart, I will say that we probably have about 55% of our licenses for offshore, and the remaining 45% with the remaining tanker general cargo fleet.
Oh, okay. And this is an interesting thing that you brought forward. I've always wondered, and that offshore has been slightly different from the main fleet. However, the technologies used now are being modified to suit both the fleets, as well as offshore, as well as the mainline fleets, the cargo vessels. That's mean. So
Yes.
that's a good thing to know. One other thing which is going on in my mind while you're speaking is, like again, Terra Marine and Ocean Technology Group as a whole is a huge group encompassing all the major technology services. Where do you position Terra Marine in the future?
Our vision 3 years down, that's 2023, and that is written in our KPIs and everywhere within our internal websites and stuff like that, is to be in the top 3 service providers in fleet management systems by 2023. That is our vision itself. That is our vision. So we are looking at moving more towards a SaaS, a software as a service concept. But we would, by 2023, we will be in the top 3 of fleet management systems worldwide by way of fleet size. That is exactly what we're aiming for, Shaukat.
Okay, so you have a 3-year vision, right? But tell me one thing, and again, a very interesting thing that comes onto my mind, and that is, technology keeps changing every day.
Yes.
So if you have a 3-year vision, is the time span too long for new technologies to come and seeping in while you're completing your vision? Well, I don't know whether it's the right question, but
let me put it in a different way. Technology is evolving every day. That was the crux of my presentation itself.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So we are improvising every single day. We are adding new modules. We are adding new features into our existing. In fact, in September, we have our user conference in Bergen, which is an annual thing. We are launching a new product platform called TM Master 3. So TM Master 3 is our vision for the future. We are launching this in September, And this is what we are going to take forward for the next 3 years. So using TM Master 3, TM Master 3 is going to be a brand new platform with fantastic new features, and it is going to be based on the cloud. It's going to be SaaS based, which is actually in line with our vision also, because our vision is actually also to be SaaS based, software as service based. So in line with that, I mean, if some of the viewers can actually make it to Bergen, or even join join the webinars virtually, you will get a fantastic presentation of TM Master 3, which is our product of the future.
Well, that's very good, Satish. I will look forward to you sharing. Maybe we have a huge followership on the Facebook, so if you share some details, maybe we will get a chance to opportunity to learn from those participating in those webinars as well. And like you mentioned, like you mentioned, I really I know that once you have a plan, then you put something in force, and then you're constantly updating on that technology. So even if the technology changes or it takes a new form, you embed that in your system, so it's just like buying a laptop and you're constantly updating online. Yeah.
Yes, we adapt to evolving technology trends. We have no choice, otherwise we will just be left out, and there's no way we can meet a vision of being one of the top 3 in 2023.
So I wanted to ask you another thing, Satish, since again it's very interesting that it's such a huge group and all kinds of research may be taking place. How do you know what is coming tomorrow? I mean, is there a research base in your company or in the world? How do you know which technologies are evolving? What is the process to know what is coming in the days ahead?
We do have I won't call it exactly an R&D department or something like that, but we do have a department within the whole group which looks at new technologies. For instance, cloud technologies. I mean, cloud technologies are evolving day by day. And the best part is, since we are part of Ocean Technologies, we have added an entirely new gamut inside the Tero Marine group. When we were just Tero Marine, we were okay, we could only do so much. But now with Ocean Technologies, we have a totally new setup, and we have people that are looking just at new technologies. What are coming up? What is Microsoft doing? And what are competitors doing? So we get all this information, attending various webinars and seminars, and you name it. So when we have all that information, we get this discussed internally with workshops and things like that. And then we say that, okay, this is basically what we're going to do, because this is what the customer wants. We also speak to customers, because every single customer has his own idea of doing things. So we have a lot of interaction with customers, every single person, all the way up to the support group itself. So that is how we kind of learn most of our products are driven by customer demand. So this is some of the ways that we keep always abreast of new technology.
So it's always about the customers and not
it's always
absolutely right.
Customers first, obviously.
Yeah. So my regards to the full OTG group, regards to you. Thank you so much. We've reached our time, and as we prepare for the next session, to all those people who are hearing us, we were just hearing Satish Kanakasabai from Terra Marine, with part of the Ocean Technologies group, a huge, momentous group encompassing a lot of companies together, technology companies together, and forming. My regards to your team, Satish, and also the leadership and of Manish Singh at the top, and very able leadership, Ral, and a very good friend of mine, and very, very highly placed in a very popular figure in our international maritime circuit. So thank to Ocean Technology, thanks to Tero Marine for being a part of TIM. And we have, to our dear viewers, I'm saying, just hold on to our last session coming up after a short break. In the break, you can go on, visit all the booths. Please do visit the Ocean Technology group. We have had a lot of visitors, like I was telling you, we have had a lot of visitors downloading the brochure, as well as going on. You can connect to the people and then watch their videos and see what amazing technologies that you are in to witness in the days to come. So please visit the Ocean Technologies group, and also visit the HSBC group, and look at the Mariners account, a very special Mariners account. In our last session, we had put forward a question, and it was like a question which was the right answer would have got yourself a prize. The question was, what are the advantages of opening an account, or advantages that HSBC offers for a Mariners account? We've got lots of answers coming in, but there was one answer which came in partly right. The other one was not right. So we will hold on to the prize till we get all the right answers. We'll come back to you again with a short quiz on the chat box. Please follow us. And we'll take a short break here till we come back again at exactly, uh, we have Harold at 1625, at 1700. But don't go away. Please stay with us in the platform. Go and visit, please, at the OTG booth there, and other booths as well, the HMT, the Stormgeo, the Watsila, the HSBC booth, and ScanReach booth. So it's over and out from here. Satish, thank you again once again for being a part of this. We look forward to connecting with you again and again for a huge learning experience.
Thank you, Shaukat. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Fantastic.